hips. Those of you who can reach your sacrum, just find the triangle here. And push on the edge of the bone and the soft tissues. Tenderness, you know what to do. More tenderness, just walk up. Walk up. Find the golden triangle. Touch and hold and take it down. This area here is the major storage area for insecurities, all sorts of insecurities. All sorts of insecurities. As babies, it's like we lived in the land of giants. So lots of insecurities to do with size. You store them here. The concept of potty training, discovery of genitals, sexuality, shame, guilt, withhold, stored here. All the insecurities with any kind of sexuality. The bank account. Anything comes here. The concept of time. Children are alienated to the linear timing. So to them it's like space-time continuum. You may say, Jack, we have only 5 minutes out the door. And to them it's like, who? No concept whatsoever. None. They obey, they comply, they mimic the grown-ups. No concept. Lots of insecurity with time, especially as we start to age. And finances, camouflage, growth in here. All of the insecurities go here. And one major thing about this area is that it's full of bone marrow. It's full of stem cells, right? So as we age and the insecurities start to build up on top of each other, then the bone marrow can do what the bone marrow does. As the bone marrow goes through its miraculous transformation, turning into white cells, red cells, platelets, they are very insecure. Therefore, we have a very insecure immune system. A very insecure system is like a very insecure person. It's not a bad system, it's not a bad person. But it's tired. It can't really do what it normally, almost effortlessly would have done. So therefore, we have all sorts of diseases, disharmonies, colon cancer, colon fibromyalgia, lupus, migraine headache, arthritis. All the diseases that are almost deemed incurable in the Western medicine. Only if we do this, if you sit there, just pulling these insecurities out. Maybe you're living a very good life, you're happy, but the area is full of insecurities anyways. Just pull them out. Daily activities. Pull them out. Full of bone marrow, stem cells. They are glazed with insecurities, folks. And of course, as we age, I know there are a lot of factors, but this is the main factor for all physical diseases. The main factor, insecurity. And it's right here, in the sacral area. Now see if you can reach your kidneys. Kidneys are a lot higher than one would think. Is that you place your finger on the hip and you turn it. It's a lot higher than you would think. See if you can reach. If you don't, your intention is good enough. But the intention, just intending to reach the kidneys. Kidneys in any alternative medicine are very important, of course. But they are also the major storage area for what?
Fear.
Personal fear. Personal. As soon as they get triggered, it's like your knees give. We can't function. We can't think. So this area is all sorts of fears in the front. 80% of these fears in the front have nothing to do with it. They are the fear of your loved ones, friends and acquaintances, world news, what have you. But in here, it's all yours. All yours. So, just to make sense of it and feel like you're doing something, you may have to roll 2 socks and put it in here and lie down against it, or make fists and put these knuckles against and lean against the chair. It's funny. Once you hit the area, it's like all the energy leaks stuff. Just about everybody here was leaking energy through the cutis. And I can't, like, columns of leaks or and this actually just puts a damper on it. It just stops the leaks. Anyone feels good doing that? Mm-hmm. It really feels good. You actually stop the leakage. And you know, if you're engaged in daily activities that are really stressful, you're leaking all the time. You keep on leaking all the time, there's got to be a time that you come up with very horrendous diseases. Einstein, as well as 10 million other sages, said you can't do the same thing and expect a different result. Right? Now I want you to touch the thighs. Touch the thighs. Touch and hold and begin. The area, I'm sorry, Lucy doesn't have knees. So I have to guess where the thighs are. Touch and feel, begin. You know, the fear right from here ripples down. It's very interesting. So you're sitting innocently, maybe, you know, having a fear or something, and you're touching, and all of a sudden, did I lock the door? How much do I have in the bank? I mean, these thoughts actually do come. They really do come. So touch and inhale, you know, as usual. Hold it. And dig in. The more you dig in, the more fear and fright surfaces. It's okay. We're all in it together. Just hold it out. Release. Again, you are free from having any curiosity to see what these energies are, to whom they belong, to what settings and conditions they are attached. And you could do the same thing now with the hamstring. Touch and hold and push. What are you releasing? Mainly insecurities, right? Because it ripples down. Touch your knees and kneecaps. If they are moving pretty readily, easily, then you have good knees. If they don't, you don't have good knees. But touch and hold and pull. Some of these energies are what? Anyone can guess? Personal fear. Remember I said once the personal fear gets triggers here, your knees give. There actually is a lot of fear in the knee area. This is funny. Touch your shins. And especially the muscles around the shins. Is it tender or is it very painful? All of this is tender. Almost always is tender. So almost always is painful. It really stocks the energies. It prevents a lot of minor centers of energies to get activated. But this simple action, couple it with inhalation, is like you're releasing. And there is a release. It's like you no longer are frowning. And the calves. And I guess I'm going to spare you of touching the feet at this point. We want to touch our face again. I'm sorry. Oh, this is again just like the palm of your hand or your ears, right? So any area is tender, then the corresponding area is, you know, there's some energy blocked. So the left foot, if you look at the left foot, you know, as your hologram, you touch in the middle, it's like you're touching the middle. Right? And the toes, when you touch your toes, you actually, it's like you're doing acupuncture, acupressure on your head. And you know, the arch of your feet towards the bottom of the arch is where the, you know, this area is where the spine is. So you touch and you're releasing stuff. So simple act of touching and being with your body, first of all, is very grounding. Also very pleasurable. It's really nice to do that. You feel live. Okay. So in Shafaw, basically, what probably makes it, on the surface at least, very different than other healing modalities is that it's very structured. In the fact that we definitely work on the abdominal area, the area between the navel and the pubic bone. We always work on that area, regardless of why you come. We work on the sacrum, regardless of why you come. We work on the kidneys and the adrenal glands, regardless of why you come. We work on the, you couldn't touch the ancient brain, but we definitely work on the ancient brain or the limbic brain. So inside the limbic brain, at the base of the nose, I have the brain left there. There is the, inside the limbic brain, there is hypothalamus gland and the pituitary gland. So as soon as, for example, I put my hand on somebody's head, I am working on the pituitary gland at the base of the brain. And the pituitary gland is in charge of 6 major organs. So just the fact that you put your hand here and you start to breathe in deeply and receive and pull in with the intention to pull it in like this, inside the base of the brain, where the limbic brain is. It's like not only you're relaxing your head and your nervous system and all that, but you also are working on 6 major organs. Simple, huh? The magic word is reds. In Shafaw we use reds very often. Like the color red. Red stands, R stands for repetition, E stands for enthusiasm, D means this. So you keep on doing it. You keep on doing it, and magic is going to be created. The secret is in this. So regardless of why anyone comes here, for headache or hemorrhoid, for anything, we definitely work on these areas, with an eye in the relationship between these areas and the desire. Always. That's what makes Shafaw very different. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. So technically, by doing this, not only you maintain yourself, you start to have a better mood, your immune system functions better, but at the same time, you won't get sick. Whether you use Shafaw for self-healing or taking it a step further, start to help others, it's really, really workable. Call it anything you want. But the main difference, at least on the surface, is the discipline of working on these areas, because we know how important they are. So no shortcuts. We were training somebody and the person said, I'm ready, Mary, and I said, okay, show us what you can do. And she was working, she was going here and there. I said, why are you doing this? I was guided. I said, really? You fail. You have to have a structure. Within that structure, you can be extremely, extremely creative. We all are very different. Very different. We look different. But, look at this. Very, very different. Okay, the title today is really positioning, and I'm open to giving you maybe 5 minutes break if you all want to. If not, we can. Okay. So the title today is positioning. Technically, wherever you position yourself, like you position yourself to be in this room, that's all you can breathe in, that's all you can breathe out. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you go to a swimming pool, what happens? You get wet. But egotistically, we say, I can stay in the swimming pool and be dry. It's a really good luck. I'm going to be your student. It's not going to happen. So technically, if you're sad and you continue analyzing the sadness while you're sad, then there is more sadness. You've ruined it. It just increases in size and significance. Plus, you tap in 7 probably billion other people who are sad or angry. So each time you entertain an emotion, it's not just yours. It could be a whole lot of other people that are going through a whole lot of difficulties. And it's disproportional. It's like, I got upset because the guy cut me off on the highway. Why am I raging? We call it road rage. Because it may not be yours. Part of it is yours, but you tap into it and all of a sudden you pull it in. So it's very important to know this, that wherever you are, that's where you are. Only ego says, I'm here, but I cannot be here. But I'm here. And it's like, it doesn't work. In any physical condition, emotional condition, you are where you are. You want to create a shift, you have to step aside. It doesn't work any other way. I've worked with a lot of great healers, master healers, grand master healers, in this round, in other rounds. It just doesn't work. So if you go and do some work and come back to your old setting, what happens? You're going to repeat the same thing again and everyone. You're coming back to your own swimming pool. It's going to be the same thing. What do you expect? So it's like I've gone to all these healers, and I've gone to Freud himself, and nothing works. The basic information is missing though. You could go anywhere, you come back to the pool, you get wet. What do you expect? So a lot of times people intuitively actually choose a different accommodation. They actually leave their place of residence. Or when someone is really going through grief, lost a loved one, they go for a vacation. There is a whole lot of change right there. It's like still grieving, but there's a lot of shifts. It's like things are kind of brewing for the individual to continue with life in an amicable, happy way. So in Shafaw, we always acknowledge feelings, always. Someone is sad, someone is angry, we acknowledge. But if I'm angry and I acknowledge that I'm angry, it doesn't make me right. Think about it. Any feeling you have, we acknowledge, it doesn't make you right. But we are trained to think we're right. And Mr. Ego comes in and reinforces the whole thing. We must be right, otherwise why am I feeling this way? I must be right. And because I'm right, then there is judgment, there is sense of entitlement, and it never ends. The game becomes even more interesting. Very interesting. So again, another golden rule in Shafaw. We always acknowledge emotions. We are not in denial. We are not sweeping it under the carpet. We actually know what it is. In fact, as Shafaw healers, we must pay attention to all this. If there's a cancerous tumor, and I just say Hare Krishna, love, 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 try not to see it, then what am I healing? You must see what's wrong. Well, what are you healing? We see what is wrong, but we step aside from it. There are two different things.
Sorry, did you see?
Anytime there is a disharmony, you see what is, and you step aside and you create a reality opposite to what was, or what is. You keep on looking at it and looking at it till it actually becomes tangible. There is a feel to it, you may not be able to see it, but my hand is tingling. I know I have it, so I bring it back and I superimpose on the old, on the process that needs healing. And I keep on looking at it now. I'm giving this area a template, and the area has to heal. It's a given. Doing a few things. Methodically, with discipline, with reps, repetition, enthusiasm, discipline, healing comes. Okay, again, the title I'm going to repeat is Positioning, and I think when in 1989, I was at the UCSF hospital, and it was my birthday, I think, or around it. But to make things even more interesting, I'm going to say it was my birthday. August 25, in the hospital, and I'm burned because of the chemo. 3rd-degree burns all over. And also on the inside. I could not drink, I could not read right. I could not talk. I could not see. The vision would shift all the time. And you know, you're suffering like that, and it's like there's nothing you could do. You can't even die. You're there. You want to die, but how could you? You know, they don't let you. And lots of machineries were attached. You know, beep, 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 beep. Different concentration, different drops per minute, and so forth. You know. And after a while, these sounds are boom, boom, boom. It's like someone hammering you all over. You know, it's really tough and painful. You don't know what to do with it. You know. And I really thought either I'm going to die or I'm going to stop this sound. It wasn't just in my head. It would reverberate throughout my body. And all of a sudden, you know, I couldn't, as I said, I couldn't even talk. I screamed from here. And I said, I want the noise to stop now, replace it with something else. And boom. It was all light. It was the best firework I have ever seen. It was the best 4th of July. Every sound turned into different kind of light. You know how you listen to music on a computer? All these flashes come, just like that. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't feel it. And right there, I learned we can use our senses interchangeably. That's the. We actually can use our senses interchangeably. Just know that. As soon as you know that, you don't have to study with me 10 years to do it. You could do it maybe now. But the basic information is needed. And then, of course, it's your willingness to put it into use. The basic information is needed. So in your minds, you know, maybe you accept, maybe you don't accept what I'm saying. I really don't want you to believe me. Anytime anyone comes and says, I believe you, I get this cold rush of something in my spine. I know I'm in for a, you know, rough ride. I don't want people to believe me. Your beliefs change all the time. You believe in Roosevelt today, tomorrow in me, the next. I want you to know. And the only way for you to know is to experience it yourself. But, you know, if I'm telling you something to do, you know, as Shafaw student, and the next day I ask you, have you done it? If I haven't done it, that's your process. I respect that too. But the result is not going to be the way you expect. Or from what you heard, you know, people said, what I've done. So in fact, we can't and we don't want to force maturity. There is a maturity in every process. I'm not implying anyone is immature, but there is maturity in everything. Okay. So the first lesson for me in the, you know, the first major lesson that I can bring forth from the time in the hospital was, okay, and it wasn't the morphine. I wasn't actually using the morphine. I had a nurse, very lovely nurse. At the time, I think I was 37, 38, and the nurse was probably 23, 24. She was very lovely, very caring. She would come, she would wash her hands, and then she would wipe, you know, the sweat out of my forehead, and I'm looking at it, okay. And then she said, use the morphine. Use the morphine. You know, she would come day in, day out, and said, use the morphine. One day she came, and I was suffering, and she said, you know, she had a lot of syringes and all that. She just dropped everything. She said, God damn you, I told you, use the goddamn morphine. I never thought I'd be pushing drugs here. Use the goddamn morphine. You know, she forcefully did that, and I pressed, you know, the button, and all of a sudden, almost instantaneously, I was smiling, you know, it was nice. And she started to become very friendly with me and my wife, and she was, it seemed like she's paying more attention to me, or that was her skill. It seemed like that. There was no improper feeling, so to speak, if there is such thing. And she was just careful, and she was very caring, rather, not careful, caring, very caring. So a month later, all of a sudden, she's not there. And I'm asking, Harry, what happened to her? Well, she's in vacation to Hawaii, okay? Harry, what happened to her? She actually is getting married. Really? She's getting married? Yeah, okay. And a week later, what happened? Why is she not coming? Well, they decided to move, so she no longer is going to work. Really? Why didn't she come and say goodbye? What happened? And it wasn't until I think 8 years ago that I found she died 2 doors from me. She acquired leukemia. 2 doors down. What's the lesson in it? She actually contracted leukemia. And, I think I had a share in that. So, it makes me very sad. The lesson is that, we exchange energy. It's very real. As we are sitting is not really the close proximity, it's how I feel about you, how I feel about you, and how you feel about it. Then we exchange energies. Then everything is contagious. The cancer is contagious. Everything is contagious. Leukemia is contagious. Lupus is contagious. I've seen so many incidences that the wife or the husband gets a mess and starts to be crippled. And shortly thereafter, the husband and wife has a mess. It's like, how does that work? What are the possibilities here? How is this possible, really? And how many times there are just laws of chance and accidents for these things to happen? We do exchange energy. It's a constant dance of sharing and giving energies and receiving the energies. So what do we do as Shafaw healers? I mean, if that's the case, I would have died in one week. There is a cancerous tumor. Let's consider his nose a cancerous tumor, and I put my hand in and I'm breathing, and I see it's coming into me. I see the energy is coming to me. If I fear, it's going to stay. See, if I haven't dealt with these areas of fear, and I'm working, and it's, ooh, cancer is coming into me, it's going to stay. Now, I may not get cancer, I definitely get some kind of pain and ache, minimal. Minimally, I get some pain and ache. There are people who go through radiations, and again, probably up to 10 years ago, I didn't see people who go through chemo and radiation, but I've changed that. So, when I touch, I actually can remove the excess radiation. I get excruciating pain in my hand. I usually do it like that. Now, radiation, they say if you get radiation, don't associate with other people right away and all that. People come right away and they remove it. And I get the pain. And I let it go. But you gotta have these basic informations. Somebody is sad, you're trying to be with that person, people will even breathe. So in Shafaw, we teach you techniques to actually protect yourself from that. It starts first thing in the morning. Everything starts first thing in the morning. So first thing in the morning, myself and all the Shafaw students, 12 which are sitting here, the first thing that we do, we actually do that. There is a technique or a number of techniques that we do that. But it all starts even before you're able to swallow or do this or stretch. You actually say, I am a spiritual being, and I'm going to have a wonderful human experience. As you set yourself up, you position yourself for the day. Then you start the process. Speaking of positioning, thank you. Speaking of positioning, it's very important for you to position yourself now, then decide if you want to be a healer or not. Totally. Because there are going to be signs. It's like as soon as you position yourself to be in an environment of what you want, arrows of creation, and it can be seen. Once you start to raise your vibrations, your clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient abilities just come. is not reserved for a few people. You know, it's not esoteric at all, unlike what people say. They made the field of spirituality so complicated. It's not. It's not. You just have to position yourself. And then depending on your dedication, depending on your vibrations, then more things come. It's like different arrows, you know, come from all directions. And they carry the germs of subtle creation of form. Then we have a subtle form. Then we keep on looking at the form. He's going to be more significant. And then sometimes it actually manifests in front of our very eyes. It actually does. That's how you position yourself.